What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and we're going to be going over the charts. I don't see very big gains for the markets in the future unless you're shorting, but that's my opinion. None of this is financial advice. I want to hear your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. We've been talking about this for almost 2 years now, this all coming into fruition. One more thing, if you stick around to the end of the video, I want to give you my thoughts on the BITBOY crypto thing and just kind of put my thoughts out there, put it what I'm seeing. The guy's obviously having some serious issues. We'll get into it at the end of the video. Let's get into this. Let's talk about what's going on in the crypto markets. If that sounds good, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and let's get into it. So starting off, we'll look at the Dow. You guys know we've been watching this rising wedge. We have fallen out of it now. So I threw some fibs on here just from this low to this high. Some areas to look for possible support and bounces. So let's take a look at that. Let's put in a price label here. Here's the first one, 0.236 fib, and then we'll put another one down here on the 0.382 fib. We also have the bigger fibs you can see here. So this one's a major fib. You can see we've had bounces off it before. Let's put one on there just for shits and giggles. That's 32,556. But you guys know I've had this target down here about 27.7. And possibly as low as this 22,000 to 22,500, maybe 23 if we get lucky. But back to this long-term trend line, right? From way back here. This is what I'm looking for the Dow. I do think eventually this is going to come down quickly. Originally, I've been saying since December 2nd, 2022, I believe the bottom for Bitcoin would be sometime in September or October of 2023. Now, that was back in 2021 when I was talking about that. We are getting close. Could it go a little bit longer? Possibly, but people think that it's impossible for Bitcoin to go down to my targets between 35 and 9,700 by the end of this year. I don't think that's impossible, and I still think it's possible to happen next month. We'll kind of look at some other big drops we had in Bitcoin, look how long they took, things like that, but we'll definitely be getting into the smaller time frame too, looking at the 4-hour and kind of looking for our more immediate targets. So definitely you're gonna want to see this. So S&P has not yet dropped out of our rising channel here. That support is around 42 somewhere in there, about 4,225, somewhere in that range. My target there is 37.35. That's my main support. Obviously, we have some fibs here at 41.11, 39.55, places for bounces. But you can see what happened once Dow broke through its. Let's zoom in there a little bit so you can see. Once it broke through there, it's pretty convincing that it crossed a major trend line there. So let's look at S&P again. So once we cross that 42.24, 42.25 area, I do see us probably going to drop pretty swiftly. NASDAQ has also dropped out of its, and it went up, retested it, got rejected. Right now we're coming down to our first fib is the 0.236 at 14.4, around 14.462, and then 13.535 right in that range. We'll also take a look at BNB at the end of this. I forgot to mention that. But this is the NASDAQ. Like I said, same thing, guys. Everything's looking extremely bearish. The DXY, we've been talking about this forever. Everybody's been super bearish on it. Everybody was saying it was going to die here because of bricks, things like that. I've told you guys over and over to pay attention to what the news says, but don't take it with a grain of salt, because the same people that control the news are the same people that control these markets, and they tell you to where to put your money so they can take it, right? These were our targets from like the last 3 weeks. Bam, nailed it. Bam, nailed it. So this should become our support now, the 106. A 106 even-ish. Here is our next major resistance, right? We've had this line here forever, drawn off these two wicks around 106.7, 106.8, depending on when it hits, right? Once we get above this, we'll probably come down for a retest. But guys, we have much higher targets. We have our target at 109, 115. We have one at 122, and then much, much higher. Let's see how bad this gets. If this is a longer-term bear market, it could get even more ugly than I am suspecting. Just be careful. We've been talking about the biggest money grab in history for a long time, meaning they're going to take the money out of the markets. If you look back at like the Great Depression, right? Where did the money go when it came out of the markets? Everybody sold. Everything was crazy. The banks. They'll probably do the same thing here. They'll end up owning most companies, things like that. I've been talking about this for so long. This is the monthly Bitcoin chart, right? Something I want to point out here. Bubbles pop and they always return to where they began, which is down here. This is what I've been talking about for a long time. Let's put this into a little bit better perspective. If you look at it, we had our high here. We had a low. We had a lower high, lower low, lower high. I believe we're getting a lower low, possibly very soon. Be careful. One more thing, if you guys are interested in trading, Prime XBT does sponsor this channel. I will be making a new tutorial, but I'll leave you one up top now. I'm going to be making a new one on the new part of the platform, right? So the derivatives part. But anyways, quick word from the sponsor, and then we'll move on into Bitcoin for the smaller time frames.
Begin your path to financial freedom. Gain up to a $7,000 bonus on us. Register and use promo code. Deposit and enjoy a 7% bonus. Available now. Link in the description.
So don't forget, you can use promo code SAVVY50 to get you up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margin. SAVVY25 to get you 25% off your fees. The great thing about learning to trade is you can make money no matter which way the markets go, right? Even when everybody else is just holding on, wishing it would go higher, and it drops much lower, you can make money while they're losing money. Anyways, and vice versa. In a bull market, same thing. You make money going up, and you can make it faster when it's going up because you can add leverage to it or whatnot. But on Prime, you can use Prime to trade crypto, Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones. So this is the section I'm talking about. There's a crypto futures section. This is much newer to the platform. I'm going to be making a video in depth on how to use this part of the platform. So definitely, if you don't understand it and don't use it, watch out for it. I'll try to have it out in the next week, 2 at the most. It's going to be a detailed video, so make sure you're looking for it. All right, so here's the 4-hour, right? Where's our major resistance where it would maybe get a little bullish if it got up past this 27.1, but you still have a fib here at 27.9. But what I'm looking for here was our targets from this weekend. We put these targets in. We hit, almost hit our 25.9. I still think we'll be going down there. As you can see, we're getting rejected on all the EMAs pretty heavily here. We did have our 4-hour sell signal here. We also had a 3-day sell signal I warned you guys about on Sunday on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I do throw that kind of stuff out there when I see it. But yeah, everything's still looking pretty ugly, guys. Now, I know a lot of people are saying 25 is going to hold, 20 is going to hold. Do you remember? Now, one of the biggest things the bulls have that they say is going to, I'm going to go into different screen for this. One of the biggest thing that bulls talk about is the halving, right? That's one thing they always push that narrative. But the halving, now every 4-year cycle, every 4-year halving cycle prior, which there's only been a few, but prior, one of the key things was Bitcoin could never go lower than the prior all-time high. We did that this year. This is totally different than the normal 4-year cycle, guys. like I've said before, there's 4-year cycles and everything, right? Especially in markets, because every 4 years, what happens in America, right? So just something to think about. Let's get back over to the chart. So right here, we got the ABCDE. This is one of my big bear counts, right? And when you're in a falling wedge like this, the E does not have to go all the way back down, but it usually goes at least halfway in between the high and the low here. So that would get us between that 37 and 9,700. I still believe that we will be seeing them prices. Is there a guarantee? Absolutely not. But if you guys remember, we called this top like 3 weeks or maybe even a month before it even hit, and we called it for 64K. Then we called these shots, and I'll show you in the video here in a minute. But let's just get on with it. Here's another thing, looking at this as a rising wedge. It broke down. The target for that is right around 12,000 for that target. But let's look in a little closer here. You can see all the EMAs on the weekly looking across. If we switch this over to the 3-day, those of you guys that watch my channel know that I like to watch the 8, 13, and 21 EMA. When they all cross the 55 EMA, like here, the next candle opens and closes below the 8, which we did, that is a massive sell signal. And this isn't a 1-hour sell. This isn't a half-hour sell. This isn't a 15-minute sell. It isn't a daily sell. This is a 3-day sell. Be careful. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. So everybody wants to say there's not enough time for Bitcoin to drop that far. Most of them people probably have never been in a capitulation event. But let's take a look up here. So this was 3 weeks. We actually have 5 weeks left until the end of October, right? Yeah, 5 weeks. So in these 3 weeks, we could go all the way from the top, but we'll just go from the top of this candle. It was $66,400. 3 weeks later, within that 3 weeks, it got down to $42,000, right? That's $22,000 drop or $24,000 drop in 3 weeks, right? Let's take a look at another one over here. So we'll just look at this one here. From 48,200, 3 weeks later, it was 38. So there's a $10,000 drop in 3 weeks. Let's take a look at this 3 week right here. From 40,000 all the way down to 26,000, 14,000 in 3 weeks. We have 5 weeks left, guys. So let's count 5 weeks out here. Let's go from this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Actually, 1, 2. Yeah, let's just go from this one. So that was 43,000 all the way down to 25,000. Guys, it can drop pretty damn hard. And considering what the markets are doing, I just want to tell you guys, be extremely, extremely, extremely cautious. Bitcoin has never seen a true traditional bear market. That from its whole existence, the stock markets have been booming, right? This is the other count, looking at it as a 5-wave count. For this to get invalidated, you would have to break wave 1 here. It's about 32.8, 32.9 area. That was the first big low from the top, right? That's major resistance. We did not get to that. We also have a trend line from this drop before we got to our all-time high, right? We broke above that, but cannot hold above it. So now this should be major support around that 28.7. On the daily, this is the area I watch for. If once this breaks down, this will become resistance again, in my opinion, at 25. This was one of our targets from way back here, right? Way back here when we called this. Once we called this top way back here, right? We were at like 54,000, something like that. And I said watch for 64K top. We hit the top. Once we got this bounce, we measured this out as a 2-wave. I gave you the target of wave 3 and wave 4 perfectly. You can go back and check the videos. 5 I thought would be lower. Nevertheless, then we got this huge rally here, which Nobody expected. Even the Bears or Bulls were bearish down here, but once we went up here, I didn't expect it to break the all-time high. Obviously, you're never going to get everything right? But if you can get the basic market structure down, you can use these structures in smaller time frames too, not just big time frames. So once you learn, if you want to look back and back test on big time frames and kind of learn from that and use it into smaller time frames, that's one way that it can help you. But then we had these targets here. I told you guys back in December 1st or 2nd, which was right here. This was when we were talking about the tops in, big bear market coming. And then we made these targets down here. We hit them all except the 97 and the 36. But if you guys were watching back then, you will remember that I had been talking about a false bottom, a 100% rally, which is exactly what we got, and then continuation down to the true bottom. That's where I believe we are. You can just Google market cheat sheet. You can see it right in that. All these bubbles pop. They do the same. Now, we're going to take a quick look at BNB. We're going to take a look at our targets, what that's going to be, and then we'll talk a little bit about my thoughts on BitBoy, Ben Armstrong. And then I want to hear your guys' thoughts below afterwards. But let's take a look at BNB. So BNB, this is our area we're watching to break here, 202. Once that breaks, we're looking for around the 153 range. And that was a measured move from right up here. Looking at this as a bear flag, right? Here's the flagpole. Here's the bear flag. And bam. Gets us down to that 153. Now, depending on what forms here, if we do get a nice bounce here, we may just do another bear flag. 202 should become our resistance then. But nevertheless, once this breaks, I am looking for 69. And if that breaks, it's going to be ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly for Binance. You guys know I've been talking about this since the FTX collapse. Identical charts. Not every candle is going to line up perfectly, but charts tell you a lot of what's going on. And a lot of it has to do with people over leveraging stuff, getting involved in shady stuff. And when the people pull the money out, it's bad news. All right. Now, make sure you guys take a second out. If you haven't already, smash those thumbs up. So the BitBoy saga. You know me and BitBoy don't really get along. At all, pretty much. But one thing I do want to say, as a human, if he is going with if he is into his addiction or whatever, even if he's not, a lot of his actions and stuff are the way active users act. Again, not saying he is using, but the way he acts really, really makes it look like he is. Either way, he's done some shady stuff in the past. A lot of shady stuff. One of the things that, I give him some crap on Twitter or X, whatever. But what did he do his whole career? Just constantly on somebody, talking crap about him, belittling everybody on his channel, on his live stream, calling everybody low IQ. Just a very mean personality, right? Now he wants to play the victim. Just like when he tried to sue Atozi, right? Tried to sue Atozi. Atozi's a younger guy, had a kid on the way, doesn't make a lot of money, was looking to sell his house so he could afford attorney fees to try to fight it or go to court for it. And somebody donated $2,000, and Ben Armstrong was making fun of him for asking for help, asking his followers for help, right? Well, then all of a sudden now Ben is asking people for help. Maybe he finally got some attorneys after the arrest last night because he isn't talking much, but he should have enough money. If he doesn't, then I don't know what he's doing with his money. If you guys haven't yet watched TJ talk about it, I know a lot of you probably are only getting one side or the other, but in my opinion, TJ's side makes a whole lot more sense, guys. If you go over to, what channel was it? Altcoin Daily, they did an interview over there. Go check it out. I think TJ's side sounds a little more realistic, right? It seems like Ben's having a lot of issues. In my personal opinion, I think he should go seek some real help. But that's my opinion. If you've seen the video from last night with Ben, if you haven't, I know it was deleted from YouTube, but it's still all over on Twitter. It's pretty crazy. It's actually pretty sad. Anyways, just wanted to give you my thoughts on that. It's absolutely nuts. Wow, what a time to be in crypto, right? Anyways, let me know your thoughts below. Whether it be one side or the other, or any thoughts on it, let me know. Make sure you guys smash the thumbs up. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Share the video if you would, and I will see you in the next one.